begin with the inaugural session of Digital Money 2020. And for the same, I would welcome our esteemed guests, Mr. Loni Anthony, Vice Chairman, Hitachi Payments Service and Co-Chairman of Payments Council of India. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
And I would also like to welcome Mr. Christophe Marriott, India Chairman and Global Sales Director, Lyra. We welcome you, sir. I would now first request Mr. Anthony to please address the audience with the welcome address. Thank you, sir.
Okay, a warm welcome to everybody, all the delegates, the panelists, the speakers, and more importantly, our sponsors who has made it possible to get to this 13th edition of one of the biggest conferences in the payment industry, which is organized by the Payment Council of India. Over the years, this conference has brought together all the fintech, the digital players, the enablers, supportive financial institutions, and is kind of making it a perfect platform for industry stalwarts to collaborate, regulators to lead initiatives, experts to provide insights that will drive growth of payment industry. As we kind of go over the next 2 days of the Digital Money Conference, one of the most important aspects that we have to remember is that we are getting into a new decade. And it's always good to kind of pause and look at what needs to be done going forward. And that is where the theme of this year has been reassess. We want to kind of step back a little bit, find out what are the things that were done good, what was needed to be done better, and make an assessment about the past decade, and also kind of see how to renovate going forward and how we can reimagining on the ways of getting the digital payments growth in this country, and how can we do a big ramp up. And I would like to touch upon the ramp up a little later in my conversation, is as to how we think we should be looking at India where we are today and what we can do in the future. This conference over many years has attracted a lot of delegates. We have been growing exponentially in terms of number of delegates attending, but this year is going to be really a record one. We will have over 1,800 delegates who would be attending this 2-day session. We have over 100 speakers and over 27 sessions. Just to put it in perspective, last year we had just 650 delegates and about 55 plus speakers. So it's almost a threefold growth in the number of delegates, and the number of speakers are also over double. So this kind of gives you a perspective about the popularity. And I think even given the fact that we are going through such a difficult time on the pandemic, that we have been able to gather so many people together and get to brainstorm and discuss about the future of payments in India is a great opportunity, and request all of you to take advantage of this next 2 days and make the best use of all the sessions that are going to happen. When we look at what happened over the last few years, as you know, India has been going through a great kind of revolution on the digital payment space, right? We have grown from about 65 billion. We are currently about 65 billion USD in terms of our total digital payments value in the country today, and expected to become about 135 billion over the next 3 years' time. So, which will be almost a twofold growth in just 3 years' time, which for us to achieve that, I think we still have to look at the key areas where we need to remove some of the obstacles, and where there are some facilitating aspects that would be needed both from the regulators and the government. I would like to highlight one of the important aspects that the regulator has been facilitating in this whole growth of digital payments. If you look at the vision statements of the regulator in 2005-8, it used to just mention that we need to have safe, secure, sound, and efficient payment and settlement systems. And actually that got expanded in 2009-12 to say safe, sound, efficient, accessible, and authorized. In 2012-15, it said safe, sound, efficient, interoperable, authorized, accessible, inclusive, compliant with international standards. And in 2016-18 is when we got to a more aggressive position where said settlement system for a less cash India through responsive regulation, robust infrastructure, effective supervision, and customer centricity. If you notice, the customer centricity has come, and this has got expanded further in the recent vision document where they mentioned that empower every Indian with an access to a bouquet of e-payment options that is safe, secure, convenient, quick, and affordable. So you can see how the regulator has been playing a significant role in how we are shaping up the digital payments ecosystem, facilitated by the government and also various initiatives on expanding the digital payments infrastructure in the country. At the same time, we also need to recognize as to what are the kind of challenges that we have, and some of them could be even opportunities. For example, one of the biggest thing that I noticed that we have is that the cash in circulation in this country, in the latest published figures, is almost 27 trillion rupees, 27 lakh crores in the recent published reports from RBI, which shows that from the demonetization time in 2016, when it was 17 lakh crores, we almost had a 60% growth in cash in circulation. While this is a challenge, I think it's also an opportunity for the digital payments company and the entire ecosystem to think about it and see how we could reduce this cash in circulation, which is still continues to grow. The other aspect that we need to look at is that where do we stand ourselves in terms of the facilitating growth in this country? We have countries like China, which is completely government controlled, and we have, let's say, in US, but we are somewhere in the middle. We are still trying to discover what is best for us from a ecosystem point of view, whether we should leave it completely to market forces or whether the government and the regulator should step in as and when needed. I don't think we have really found a balance. We have had challenges in terms of where we have had our growth in the digital payments got restricted in some aspects, particularly recently on the zero MDR issue, etc. So we feel that we need to kind of really find a mid path if we are continuing on the mid path. And not to say that either of the extreme kind of framework which is followed in China or US has really not helped them, because, for example, China, just for an example, only on the e-commerce side, right, is 1.5 trillion in terms of value, and compared to that, India is just about 30 to 35 billion. I'm just talking only in terms of the e-com activities, which actually gives you a perspective saying that, look, this is while the GDP of China is much higher, let's say 4 or 5 times more than India, it to say that they are about 50 times more in terms of the digital payments, I think we have a long catch up to do. Similarly, in the US, e-commerce is about 600 billion, which is also left it to market forces. So I think there is kind of stage we are now coming to saying that where is that we need to kind of push going forward, but whether we should leave it to more like the market forces or should be more governed and regulated, etc. Obviously, the industry view is to kind of go more towards the market forces, but we also recognize that the government and the regulators are playing a big important role in this growth, and we should also look at how this needs to shape up in the future. With these few thoughts of how we should look at the next decade, I welcome again all of you to this 2 days of exciting discussions over the next 2 days, and look forward to hearing the feedback and also to usher in the new decade of digital payments growth in India. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that welcome. I would now request Mr. Christoph to please take over for the keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you. I am very glad to be the part of opening of digital money. Thanks to Lonnie and Anthony to have very well introduced this session. And I would like also to thank IMAI and for the organization, the sponsors, and all the speakers. COVID-19 has highlighted the need for global cooperation and has accelerated the digitalization of payment. Fortunately, India has made its digital payment revolution, the demonetization before the COVID. Without this revolution, the impact would have been worse on the economy. Thanks to the demonetization, nearly each Indian citizen has access to digital payment, and it has been possible thanks to identification with the widespread of identity formalization. Today, nearly 1.2 billion of Indian citizens have been enrolled. Bank account, a very high level of banking penetration through Jan Dan Yohan, nearly 1 billion of bank accounts. Connectivity and apps, high smartphone penetration, 1.2 billion of mobile subscriber, and new payment method as RuPay and UPI. In October, for example, 2 billion of payment on UPI has been done. Of course, it could be bigger, but I think thanks to secure identification, bank account, connectivity, and new payment method, it has been the four legs for the digital payment. The India stack has also enabled innovation and accelerated digital payment thanks to the API, for example, EQIC, Digital Locker, eSign, and of course, I've been talking about it, Aadhaar and UPI. So this is not surprising that India has taken the second place for a number of fintech, and there are more than 400 fintech in India. So the market for payment is very innovative and dynamic in India. Digital payment has a particularly vital role in supporting economic recovery. I'm sure that this edition of digital money will enlighten all the payment innovation and challenges to fasten the recovery. Lira is settled in the country which has been touched the most by the COVID, India, Europe, and Latin America. I don't know if it is a misfortune, but we choose to turn this sanitary crisis as an opportunity to bring easy solution for payment to this country. In India, we started 12 years ago with the aim to bring secure connection to payment. We have been providing transaction routing and payment processing solutions all over India. At that time, this was quite a challenge to provide connectivity because the connectivity was not very good. After all these years, our aim remains the same, to provide global secure payment solution with the depth knowledge of market expectation, technical expertise, and the quality of customer care following strictly the Indian regulation. One of our key drivers from the beginning was to bring digital payment to the rural India because it is a key thing to bring digital payment to the most remote location in India. For digital payment, you need connectivity and security. With the active partnership with broadband companies, telco, several banking business correspondents, Lira managed service, and we have been able to provide secure and stable connectivity and deliver banking and financial services. Thanks to demonetization, the number of point of sale has been multiplied by 3.4 to over 5 million of POS within 3.5 years. It's a very huge growth. To bring point of sale is the first step to bring digitalization. At Lyra, we have enabled 50 lakhs of POS on our platform using various technology, and more than 30% of all these POS are in India. Many banks have started ultra-small bank branches using POS machine, and Lyra is helping these banks with managed connectivity at last mile in rural India and ensures that the bank's branches are fully functional. Lyra is also helping banks and ATM deployment company with low-cost connectivity solution. It's fundamental to bring digital payment to rural areas. Besides banks, Lyra has done many turnkey projects to develop digital payment in rural areas. For example, we have provided POS connectivity for Indian postmen. You can imagine that some of our customers have few lakhs of posts to manage. This is not easy. This is why Lyra has been providing white label solution, Luma, to manage remotely these posts on the field for the banks and the maintainers. With the COVID, Luma has helped the banks to manage remotely these posts because they were not able to go on the ground. Digital payment is also, of course, driven by the e-commerce. E-commerce revenue is expected to jump to 39 billion of US dollar from 39 billion of US dollar in 2017 to 120 billion in 21, growing at an annual rate of 51%. The highest of the world. Of course, this is not the highest revenue in e-commerce, but with this growth, you can expect that the level of e-commerce in the coming years will be as much as US and China. Lyra Network India has introduced a secure payment processing platform, Lyra Payment Gateway, for providing retailer, merchant, institution with online transaction. We are providing our platform to big merchant and aggregator, but also during the COVID, we have helped during this situation pan-India small merchant to accept seamlessly digital payment with a solution like ePOS, WhatsApp, and payments by link, because not every merchant is able to have an e-commerce website. We are working with many utilities company, where it was a problem to collect cash during the COVID. We have helped them to put in place easy solution with payment links. Payment shall be available 24 hours by 7, and you can't have any failure on the whole chain. This is why Lyra has developed its own product and solution rather than taking help from third party to maintain secure and seamless data flow between merchant and bank, and in future it will continue to do so. This is why also we are not in the cloud, because we want to be sure where are the data. The data in payment is a key point, and we have to secure this data and to locate them in India. So that's why we decide to not use the cloud and to be completely compliant with the regulation. To control all the chain of payment, we are providing also our own payment switch, because we had to face in the past very difficulties with some switch. So we have a switch to RuPay, Visa, and MasterCard. And we have also our own MPI, merchant plugin, to equip the merchant with the facility to authenticate the card user. India has not yet turned toward 3DS2. In Europe, 3DS2 has been started, and it will be mandated in March 2021. And 3D Secure 2.0 will help seamless payment, because all the transactions will be authenticated, but nearly 80% without the interaction of the buyer. Why it will be possible? It will be possible because lots of data will be exchanged in the authentication process with 3D Secure. Infrastructure and connectivity. Good infrastructure is a key factor to provide good service. We are proud of our high-end infrastructure in Bangalore and Mumbai office. The robustness of this infrastructure has proven once again in the lockdown period. During this lockdown period, our services were fully available and helped people of all the country to make digital payment. Digital payment technology and infrastructure has helped the government and people of India in this pandemic to move funds and keep business and the economy going on. One, our credential service, Lyra SIM solution, has been providing an excellent security and uninterrupted connectivity for every transaction. Lyra SIM solution provides last mile connectivity with various types of network. Today, we are managing the flow of 14 lakh POS terminals on 1.2 lakh e-merchants, 1.2 lakh e-merchants, processing more than 16 million connections per day. You can imagine that the network shall be owned 24/7. It also caters to the payment-related requirement of the organization with well-equipped platform to ensure security in payment processing across a plethora of payments mode, including credit and debit card, net banking, e-wallets. Security. With the number of transactions increasing in real-time payment, anti-fraud engine has to be very agile because decision regarding a transaction has come down to less than 10 milliseconds when it was in the past a few seconds or even much more. Payments data are quite important. Government has taken very good initiative in regulating the fact that payment data shall be located in India and that data privacy is very important. Each citizen has to keep personally his own data. Lyra Network has employed also regular internal and external audit, and of course we are certified PCI DSS. And as a conclusion, I will have to say that the current crisis has accelerated changes that were already coming: distance working, online banking, e-commerce, and digitalization of service. This should motivate fintech to innovate and go forward with the product and solution which not just meet the requirement but surpass them. This virtual conference will do justice to the name of digital money. I'm sure that this conference will need a lot of exciting minds, exchange of knowledge and ideas. As we are about to enter in a new decade after the sanitary crisis of the COVID, I'm sure that the new age of technology will surprise us in a good way. We will continue with two roundtable discussions: the porthole of digital payment, superhighway, and toward the future of payment, frictionless and contactless. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of everyone, I would like to thank Mr. Anthony and Mr. Marriott for showering us with their esteemed presence at the inaugural session and for opening Digital Money 2020 to everyone. Thank you to our audience. We will soon join in for our next session in a short while. Do visit our virtual exhibition space to check out our partner booths and their offerings. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Anthony. Thank you, Mr. Christophe.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for